guys? I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for watching my channel. Today I have this book of mythical beasts and magical creatures, and I wanted to read a little bit of it with you. I've already read through this, and I picked out some of the creatures that stuck out to me, and I wanted to share them with you. I'll be honest, some of these words, some of the names of these creatures, I will probably be pronouncing wrong, and if that is the case, please feel free to call me out in the comments. Also, if you like this type of video, please let me know, and we can go through and read some more in the future. But for now, I'll just show you the ones that stuck out to me. I got this book for, I think it was $5 at Five Below. And I thought it was a pretty good deal. So, let's begin. So first we have the Tirawong, a protective lizard-like creature of Australian Aboriginal Dreamtime. The Australian Tirawong was a very busy creature. It first appeared long ago during the Dreamtime, when the land and waters of Australia did not yet exist as they do now. It talks about the Tirawong was a protector. It needed every inch of its substantial size because it was forced to battle the rainbow snake. The snake did something very bad to start the trouble between them, although not a word was ever uttered about what the bad thing actually was. Their epic fight created some of the Australian landscape, including parts of the Rainbow River near present-day Sydney. Eventually, the rainbow snake was defeated and left Australia. It crossed the ocean and disguised itself as an island. It may never return, but if it does, the Tirawong is waiting. And then, here's the next one. Airavata, pure white elephant from Hindu mythology. Airavata has several trunks and tusks. I won't read everything word for word, but I'll give you the gist of each creature. Airavata is most widely known in Hindu India, but it is also famous in other countries with large Hindu populations, stretching from the Middle East to Indonesia. According to Hindu mythology, the creator god Brahma made Airavata and 7 other male elephants from the right half of the shell that remained after the birth of the great eagle Garuda. Brahma also made 8 female elephants from the left half of the shell. One of them became Airavata's wife. Airavata was the last of the elephants to appear, and the only one that was pure white. He was made king of the elephants and had several other names. Indra, the Hindu king of the gods, rode Airavata. When Indra fought the serpent Vritra to free the waters of the earth, Airavata was with him. To this day, Airavata remains a symbol of strength that helps to protect the universe from those who would do it harm. Next is Qilin, a mythical hoofed creature from China that brings peace and wealth to anyone who sees it. The Qilin is known in China and other East Asian cultures. The giraffe has horn-like ossicones on its head. Today, the same word is used for Qilin and giraffe in both Korean and in Japanese. The Qilin may look fierce, but actually it's not. According to Chinese legend, it is a gentle creature that appears at the birth or death of a showed up just before the birth of the great Chinese philosopher Confucius. Over time, the Qilin became associated with the giraffe. Chinese dragon, magnificent creature that symbolizes strength and good fortune. The Chinese dragon is celebrated throughout China even today. The Chinese dragon looks like a dangerous creature. Most Chinese dragons don't have wings, but when they do, they are small and not very useful. Dragons that can fly don't use their wings anyway, they have magical powers instead. Pictures of dragons in Chinese art go back thousands of years. Each of the 4 most powerful dragon kings were connected to one of 4 seas, north, east, south, and west, that were believed to surround China. As beings of great power, dragons were closely associated with Chinese emperors. The emperor's throne was also known as the dragon's throne. Red dragons were linked to the Ming dynasty. They were followed by the yellow and gold dragons of the Qing dynasty. The earliest great emperors were believed to have become dragons at the end of their reign. It was also thought that emperors were born with birthmarks in the shape of dragons. Okay. Troll. Bad-tempered beast from Norse mythology. Trolls come in different sizes. There are giant trolls who rampage over the countryside, and smaller trolls who spend much of their lives in caves or under bridges. But whatever their size, they are all pretty grumpy. Maybe that's because for some reason they turn to stone when exposed to sunlight. One story tells of a troll who lived under a bridge and swore to eat anyone who tried to cross it. For a long time, travelers stayed away, but one day, a little billy goat wanted to cross the bridge to get to a meadow with lush green grass to feed on. The troll threatened to eat the little goat, but he assured the troll that there was another goat coming along who was bigger and would make a better dinner. So the troll let him pass. When the next goat arrived, he in turn promised that an even bigger goat was coming after him who would make the best dinner of all. By the time the third goat showed up, the troll was very hungry and ready to eat him at once. However, the third goat was very big indeed. As the troll prepared to gobble him up, he lowered his head and charged, putting the troll right off the bridge and out of his way. That's the tale of the Billy Goat's Gruff, I think. I remember that from childhood. Anansi, a spider from West African folklore who created the sun, the moon, and the stars. In addition to creating the sun and other celestial bodies, he taught people how to write and grow crops. Anansi collected all of the world's wisdom, which he stored in a large gourd called a calabash for safekeeping. Anansi wanted to keep this knowledge from people, but the calabash was so full that some of the wisdom kept leaking out. Finally, Anansi realized holding back the wisdom was not the best thing to do. Instead, wisdom should be shared among the people. Anansi is best known for his role in bringing stories to the world. The stories existed already, but they belonged to the sky god who didn't want to share them. Anansi offered to buy the stories, and the sky god agreed for a price. And he shared them with all of the world. Cat Sith is the next one, a fairy cat from Celtic myth that haunts the Scottish Highlands. According to Scottish legend, the cat Sith, or fairy cat, is a big black cat the size of a large dog, with a white tuft of hair on its chest. The cat Sith is said to like standing upright when no one is watching. According to some ancient Celtic tales, Cat Sith was not simply a fairy cat, but rather a witch that had taken on a cat's form. In every tale, the cat Sith was considered dangerous because it would try to steal a person's soul between the time of death and before the soul was claimed by the gods. To prevent this from happening, friends or family would keep guard over the body. To be extra safe, all cats would be kept away. On Halloween night, it was considered wise to put a saucer of milk outside the door in case the cat Sith should pass by. Those who forgot to do this, or simply decided not to, were in danger of finding that the milk from their cows would be cursed thereafter. Kitsune, shape-shifting fox spirit of Japanese folklore. The kitsune is known for enjoying a long life. By the time it reaches its 100th birthday, it will have long outlived any ordinary fox. Every 100 years, the kitsune grows a new tail. It can have up to 9, so may live a very long time indeed. A kitsune can shapeshift, taking the form of an old priest, a young woman, or anything else it chooses. Sometimes they want to help someone in need. Other times they may wish to teach a lesson to someone who is misbehaved. One thing a kitsune cannot hide, no matter what shape it takes, is a glowing gem that contains its soul. If a kitsune somehow loses this, it will become weaker, loses magic, and die. They can also change the look of the world around them and take over someone's mind. They're unpredictable and each one is unique. As it gets older, the kitsune's tails change from red to gold and then to white. Tales about the kitsune have been told throughout Japan for thousands of years. Kitsune masks are popular at Japanese festivals even today. Next is Yacumama, serpent of Peruvian folklore believed to live in the Amazon rainforest. It's a gigantic snake. It has blue scales and eyes that glow even in daylight. The eyes have a hypnotic effect on anyone caught in its gaze. The Yacumama is said to be able to swallow a person whole. Many people blow on a conch shell when they enter the water. They believe the sound will disturb the Yacumama, prompting it to raise its head out of the water. Yacumama was worshipped as a water spirit by the Inca people, whose civilization arose in and around Peru from about 1400 CE. The Kraken, a sea monster from Norse mythology that terrorizes sailors. Long ago, for sailors in icy northern waters, the worst possible fate was an attack from the deadly sea monster, the Kraken. According to many sailors' accounts, the Kraken was a very real creature. It was spotted so regularly that the Swedish biologist Linnaeus included the Kraken in the first edition of his work of 1735, in which he classified living things. It was removed from later editions. While in later reports the Kraken was no longer island-sized, it now more closely resembled a giant squid. With mighty tentacles, a Kraken could grab onto the hull and pull a ship down into the water. It is said that the Kraken only surfaces when it has been disturbed, which is why it often seemed to be in a bad mood. The Kraken has wiggly, squiggly arms covered in suckers and a beak-like mouth. Ninki Nanka, gigantic, mysterious reptile of West African folklore. The Ninki Nanka is said to be reptilian, but much larger than any known reptile, possibly up to 150 feet long. Its head may well be dragon-like, and its body covered in shiny scales. The other problem. So they're saying some people claimed that it has wings or could spit fire, but these reports have not been substantiated. Those who have supposedly seen it have died soon afterward. News of the Ninki Nanka spread from country to country across West Africa. Parents have been known to tell their children that if they misbehave, the Ninki Nanka will find them. In the summer of 2006, an expedition of scientists and hunters went searching for the Ninki Nanka in Gambia. They interviewed witnesses who claimed to have seen the creature but were unable to find any proof to support its existence. The Loch Ness Monster. Beast of Scottish folklore that lurks in the misty waters of Loch Ness. Some people believe Nessie is actually a giant eel. Loch Ness is a huge freshwater lake in Scotland. It is 755 feet deep at some points. Familiarly known as Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster is named after the loch, or lake, in Scotland. The earliest known sighting came in 565 CE, following the death of a man who was attacked by a creature while out swimming. There were later claimed sightings during the 1800s, and one in the 1930s that described a creature resembling a prehistoric plesiosaur. Though one photograph of this time was later revealed to be a hoax, other sightings have not been as firmly dismissed. In 1987, boats searched the Loch Ness to find evidence of the monster. They had no success, but since the loch is very deep, there was plenty of room for Nessie to hide if she was feeling shy. All known plesiosaurs died out about 66 million years ago. Hippocampus. To me, this kind of looks like a Pokemon. The benevolent sea creature of Greek mythology. The legendary Hippocampus resembles a real-life fish of the ocean, the seahorse, except the hippocampus often has 2 forelegs and is much bigger. Its most important job was pulling the chariot of the mythological Greek sea god Poseidon. According to Greek mythology, the hippocampi are good-natured creatures that save sailors from drowning or rescue them from the clutches of sea monsters. Their reputation is further helped by their appearance, which suggests strength and speed and a gracefulness in the water. Their more unusual legacy is lending their name to the part of the human brain that governs memory and keeps track of how to get around. Scientists thought the shape of this part of the brain was similar to a seahorse, and while the resemblance is pretty slight, the name stuck. The hippocampus could swim through fresh and salt water. It was known throughout ancient Greece, made its home in the Mediterranean Sea. Pegasus, the mortal winged horse of ancient Greek mythology. While the legendary Pegasus was free to travel anywhere he wanted, his home was always in ancient Greece. Pegasus is immortalized in the Northern Hemisphere constellation inspired by his shape. Pegasus was a winged horse. His father was the sea god Poseidon, and his mother was the monster Medusa. She was the one that had snakes for hair and could turn you to stone by looking at you. He was born after his pregnant mother was beheaded. He sprang from her neck. He was a wild horse at first, belonging to no one, and flying wherever he wished. He inherited an ability from his father. If he stuck his hoof in the ground, a stream of water would rush from the spot. Later, the Greek hero Bellerophon Pegasus with the help of a magical golden bridle. Together they slayed many terrible monsters. Believing himself to be equal to the gods, Bellerophon rode Pegasus up toward the gods' home on Mount Olympus. This angered Zeus, the king of the gods, and he caused Bellerophon to fall to his death in the sea. After that, Pegasus made his way to Olympus and lived in Zeus's stables. For many years he pulled Zeus's mighty chariot, and he was eventually rewarded for his long service. Zeus transformed Pegasus into stars and placed them as a constellation in the sky. And I think this is the last one. Rainbow Crow, multicolored bird of Native American legend. The Rainbow Crow is a legend of the Lenape people who originally lived in the northeastern U.S. The crow is a favorite animal in folk stories around the world. It is often known for its cleverness as well as its distinctive black feathers. According to the stories told by the Lenape people, the rainbow crow once had rich, beautiful feathers and a lovely singing voice. Then came a harsh winter, and all the animals suffered in the bitter cold. They decided to ask the great sky spirit for help. Rainbow Crow stepped forward and agreed to go. The animals could not imagine a better choice. So the Rainbow Crow made the long journey up through the sky to meet with the great sky spirit. Unfortunately, the spirit could do nothing to change the winter itself. However, he could give the animals something to help them survive: the gift of fire. The Rainbow Crow returned to Earth with the gift, but the journey was long and the fire burned very hot. The animals marveled over the fire, but they could also see that the Rainbow Crow had changed. The fire had burned and blackened its colored feathers, and its song was no longer beautiful, but dry and crackly. Even so, the Rainbow Crow never regretted its sacrifice, because its actions had saved all the animals, and nothing was more important than that. I like that story. So, thank you for listening. I hadn't heard of a lot of those, a lot of the creatures we just read about, and there are a lot more in this book. And I love the illustrations. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this brought a